Ellen, I see Ellen's hand up. Do you have a question, Ellen?
No, I was just going to say, I'm so glad that Beth brought that up, because that's what sort of has been on my mind about tall timbers. I think we need if we have the money and we can negotiate some sort of agreeable contract. I think we need them now more than ever, honestly. So I would just be very supportive of getting into talks with them as soon as possible.
And Ira has been in conversations. I touch base with him regularly. He's just kind of, he's willing to help. We just need to figure out the best approach and how we do that. So I think that's really kind of the next step we're talking about, in how, if and how he fits into the picture. So he's very willing to support us and happy to do so. Okay, anybody have any other thoughts around that just before we get into some of the other details? Just hard to talk about next steps on items if we don't have a general understanding of how we'd like to move forward. Kathy, you want me to keep going? Kathy Reeder.
We can do it together.
I didn't want to take it over, but.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for doing that. So the next item is scheduling. Obviously this item and the signs for public buildings are on hold during this time. And, we don't know when we will be engaging in, once again, scheduling our members in community events. So, at this point, we might want to think of, are there virtual ways of meeting with neighbors, or virtual ways of, not just our neighbors that are around the high school, but neighborhoods around town. I mean, it is, I know for the school district, we're thinking of things in a very different way. And how do we engage people now during this new context, still keeping people connected to us? So might be something we want to chat about here when it comes to this agenda item. Is there a different way of connecting building committee members to the community as during this time?
And to that point, Sharon, do you want to do a quick update on the neighborhood?
Sharon had to actually run at 9:30.
Oh, okay.
She's volunteering.
Jeez.
I can give an update. We're going to do round 2 of our neighborhood meeting next Thursday, the 30th at 6:30. We'll be sending again a letter to all the abutting neighbors and putting the information on the website to have that meeting and dialogue next Thursday.
So we can see how that goes, and if that's successful, maybe we think about other ways in which we can do that in other areas of town. So anything else on the scheduling of building members, whether it's virtually or later on at actual community events?
This is Beth. I just thought when you were talking, Kathy, about meeting with neighborhoods around town, probably some other groups. I know we've talked in the past about just those different groups in town, civic groups, that kind of thing. I don't know if they're keeping up any communications with their membership. I don't know that it makes sense to really go out full force with building committee things or things going on with the high school, but maybe being, again, strategic and measured. And if there's connections, among members of our group with those groups, and they're looking for an update or, information to be shared some way with their membership. But the one that comes to mind mostly is PTOs. I know some of the PTOs are doing virtual meetings, and so they're continuing their talking with their membership and between the administration and PTO members. So maybe it's time for another meet with them to just get them up to speed so they know we're still continuing our work and just where we are.
Yeah, that does make sense. We have them scheduled, so maybe we I could reach out to principals, or we could talk about it at the building committee and say, do you want us to reach out to principals and connect with PTOs? You know, that we could definitely do that. Okay.
Kathy, still doing the superintendent forum meetings, or those are suspended?
No, we are continuing with, you know, any meetings that we have scheduled. I'm not sure if we have one scheduled coming up. I'd have to look at my calendar.
Okay.
But yeah, we plan to continue to have as many meetings as possible that we have already scheduled, just trying to do it in a different way.
I'm happy if you do have one. I'm happy to speak at that too. You might catch a whole bunch at once for PTO and kind of some of the other representatives.
Okay.
If it makes sense.
Okay. Let's see. So side-by-side photos, any updates? I know this has been an ongoing item.
I actually have an update on this one. This is Megan.
Okay.
I went through everything that was sent up. I think that Kara sent over to us, the whole list of everything, and pulled out some photos that I thought made sense as far as, you know, some of the improvements we'd see in the high school. What I don't know is if I have a central location for existing high school photos, and if there's a place that just to do this, actually find the comparison photo to the alternate school. So is there a place, does anybody know that I can go get that or find that, or one location, or?
I know they were on our previous website. There were pictures, Kat, that we had.
Yeah, I can pull them down. So what we have down from our old website from the last go around, and add them to that Google Drive.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
And then see what we have from there and if we need to supplement.
And there might even be, like, I noticed too I don't even know if this makes sense technically, but there was even shots within the video, like moments in time, like where we had that one photo of where the kids were sitting outside the door that goes externally there around the corner from the library. I remember in the video so that in comparison to actually having them have a space in a building to be able to do that. So, like, is there a way for me to get a still shot out of those videos, or is that too hard to do? Anybody know that?
I think, Megan, sometimes what I do, this is not like any kind of sophisticated way to do it, but sometimes if I'm watching on my iPhone and I do the screenshot while the video is playing, you know, the home button and the power button, it'll screenshot a still of a video. That's how I do it. I'm sure there's a better way that's maybe Matt Ross could help us with, but if there's anything you're looking for, I could either, if it involves students, I could ask Ursula Fraley, who does our yearbook and takes many, many photos around the building, the building in action. Or if it's just something else, a comparable, just email me and I'll go take it.
All right. Okay. All right. Perfect. So yeah, Kat, if you could give me whatever in your spare time, in your last moments here with us, anything that if you get to it, don't worry about it. But then I can at least try to put something together, at least to start with. But I have I think right now, 5 or 6 slides that I've gotten that I pulled out of that initial set that I thought might be good comparisons that we could start with.
Okay, perfect.
Hi, this is Richard. So I know that our staff, as well as our consultants, people went through the building a number of times. And if there's a central archive for photos, we'd be happy to upload our photos to that section. So just let us know where we should upload them or email them to. I also want to make a comment about side-by-side photos. If I understand this correctly, you want to be able to show an existing condition and have that next to a picture that shows the possible future image of a comparable space. So existing cafeteria versus new cafeteria, existing media center versus new media center. Is that correct?
Yeah, Richard, and the thought process was, it wasn't the renderings, it was like, and I think this is what you're saying too, I just want to make sure I'm clear. Not the renderings of what ours might look like, it is actual existing schools.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So if that's the goal, then it would be perhaps wise to start with the future images so that we have a nice collection of, you know, schools of the future. And then from those images, go get pictures of existing conditions so that they look comparable, similar kind of wide angle, similar kind of viewpoint. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I don't know if anybody has started an archive of schools of the future yet.
Well, we do have, Kara was nice enough to download anything that she had of existing, you know, schools. I think a lot of them had been, and Kara, you can chime in here, were things that you guys had worked on. So photos of other schools around us, and what their current conditions look like. So that's where that's the images I was pulling from.
Hi, this is Kara. Yes, I uploaded just a slew of photos from our archives of all of our schools that we've done. And so I did new and old. Some of them was in the thought that, you know, some of these buildings that we've done 20 years ago still look fantastic compared to what is happening in Farmington. And so how we were, you know, talking about that, you know, crafting that message on how we wanted to actually put this together and put it out there, that was another option. So I was hoping just to see what of all of those pictures, what kind of made sense or what seemed appropriate. And then to like you said, find photos of the high school currently and put those side by side. But if I need to do some more research, I certainly can. And if we need to go out to newer buildings or other buildings from other architects, we certainly can do that as well.
Okay, very good. The newsletter update. Any updates about the newsletter, or is that also on hold?
That one has also been on hold.
Okay. So we already talked about the new videos for phase 2, and we already talked about signs for public buildings. Under other updates, I was going to ask about the neighborhood meeting, but we already talked about that. So let's just open it up for any other updates. Or items we need to think about for our next meeting.
This is Richard again. You do know that we had a informational session with the Town Planning and Zoning Commission this past Monday night. It was, I think it was well received. We got some positive comments from commission members. So you might want to put that in your newsletter if you haven't thought about that yet.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. We really should have mentioned that because I thought that went very well. And Richard, the presentation was excellent, I have to say. I thought it was just such a, it was well done, it was informative, it was very proactive and anticipating questions. So I thought it went really well. So any other items?
Just the next meeting date. Kathy, will we be holding a communications meeting 2 weeks from today?
We have typically done that, so I would say that you should, yes. So if we need to send those dates out, just as reminders, but yes, I think this meeting signals that we're just going to go forward as we have and continue to meet and, you know, and just kind of take it as it comes in the next few weeks and months.
Great, thank you.
And to that point, we probably should mention this is Kat's last communications meeting with us for the short term here. Devin is with us as well on the call, so he's going to help us with agendas and you know, setting up the meeting. So you'll hear communications from him. He's on the call with us as well. But you know, we probably should wish Kat well as a communications subcommittee, and we're very excited for her.
Thank you.
We're very excited. We can't wait. But we're gonna miss you, Kat. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, guys. It'll be hard to stay away, but I'll be.
I think you're quite busy.
You'll find some things to take your time.
Exactly.
and all good ones.
Yes, yes. All right. So on that high note, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion, Ellen.
Second. And,
Oh, second.
Beth?
Sorry.
Oh, or Meg. Okay. And
Sorry.
so we're going to adjourn at 9:57. Thank
Just
you all
one-
so much.
All right,
wait.
one quick thing. Matt Ross will be generating the meetings going forward, so look out for his panelist invites and meeting information.
Great.
Hey, Matt.
Thank you.
Matt, can you add Chris and Richard and Michael to the invites?
I will make sure that he does that.
Okay. Yeah, I can always